Hello, and welcome back to the Author Roundup, a special segment of the Book Connection Show, where we meet up-and-coming indie authors and talk to them about their published books. Join us as we sit down with our next guest author. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. Welcome to Author Roundup. My name is Emma, and I will be your host today. For today, I have with me self-published author Brian Cook. Brian is a degreed engineer from the University of Michigan who spent his business career selling instrumentation and process control equipment to manufacturing firms throughout the Midwestern United States. After retiring, he has been able to spend time with his grandchildren, which is when he observed this true story about two of his grandsons. The book is called Suctioncup. Hello, Brian. How are you today? Welcome to the show.
I'm fine, thank you, Emma. I appreciate very much you having me. And how are you doing?
I am very good, thank you. It's wonderful to have you on the show. So can you tell me all about your book, Suctioncup, please?
Well, I'm going to give a brief description because
Okay.
it's not that long a book. It's a children's book. So it's a wonderful true story about my two grandsons going fishing with their dad and expecting to catch a certain type of fish, but they caught something completely different. And through the story, as you read it, it's really a heartwarming story about the little boy's family and their life together as a family.
Okay, that sounds great. Family seems to play, like you said, a significant role in your book. Can you go into further about like the dynamic and how it contributes to the overall like warmth and positivity portrayed in your story?
Yes, family is very important to us. I'm first generation American. My father came here from Germany on the boat.
Oh,
And
wow.
so my son is my oldest son, Grant, is the dad in this story, and his two boys are the ones that they're fishing. And they're very solid Christian family. They're devoted to the Lord and also to each other. And that's what really plays through this whole the whole little story of Suctioncup.
Okay, yes, you mentioned it. So the book mentions a moment of prayer. Can you go a little bit into how prayer is woven into the narrative and how it plays a role in the boys' fishing adventure?
Sure. Without giving things away, when they
Yeah.
bring Suctioncup home, and their mommy says that basically they can keep little Suctioncup for one night for sure. She had a child monitor. I'm sure you're familiar with children monitors.
Yeah.
She had the monitor in the boy's room, and she heard Carter, the oldest boy, say a prayer to God about Suctioncup, about keeping him strong and healthy, and hopefully part of their family for the future. And so, with that prayer, obviously his mother could not get rid of little Suctioncup, and she had to take care of him. And she did a great job of feeding him through his whole growth cycle by getting special foods and graduating from a small bowl to an aquarium to etc. So she did a great job supporting the boys' need to have little Suctioncup as part of their family.
Oh, that's amazing. So I was wondering about the title. So Suctioncup is what your grandsons named it?
Yes, my oldest grandson named the thing named it Suctioncup,
Okay.
which was quite an unusual name. At the
Mm-hmm.
prompting of his mother, when she said, "Did you name it?" and he thought for a moment, and then of course came up with Suctioncup, which is such a great name
Yeah.
for this little guy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And yeah, I was so intrigued by the title, and obviously it seems like a children's book. So definitely just like Suctioncup was just like the perfect name. So given like the family oriented aspect of your book and like the fishing trip, how do you envision your book appealing to a certain specific age group, or is it intended to resonate with readers of all ages?
No, it's definitely a children's book.
Okay.
And I would say that it might resonate with the parents of children
Mhm.
who are maybe 8 years old and under. I mean, the boys, when this happened, I think the boys were 6 and 4.
Okay.
So they were kindergarten and pre-kindergarten.
Mhm.
So in any event, I think the parents of people in that age demographic from 0 to 8 would probably enjoy the book. I think once you get past that, it might be a little bit too young for a
Yeah.
reader.
And how was it publishing a children's book? Have you published before, or is this your first time writing, or have you ever had like a personal hobby of writing, or?
No, this is my very first time writing. I'm a first
Yay.
time author, and in engineering school, you're taught to write lab reports. You're not really taught to write papers.
Yeah, very
You're
straightforward. Yeah, no
right.
creative
It's
aspect.
all about the data, and
Yeah.
is the tensile strength correct, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Is your formulas right? But in any event, so this was just something that I thought was such a cherished little story,
Yeah.
a true story, as I said, that I wanted to put it down for the boys to have, so
Mm-hmm.
that when they were older, they
Yeah.
could remember this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I started to write. So
Okay.
it not nothing like a lifelong dream or anything like that. I really was just doing it for my grandsons.
And how did they feel when it was published? How did you tell them that you were gonna publish a story?
They have not found out about it yet because I worked on. They go to a Christian school,
Okay.
and I contacted the head of the school and asked his permission to allow the boys' teachers to read the book to their classes.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
this coming Friday, the teachers will be reading the book about each boy's part in the book, and then I issued enough free books for so that every student in each of their classes would be able to receive a copy.
Oh, how special. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm hoping it goes well on Friday.
Yeah, hopefully someone will record it or something so you can get their reaction. That'd be so cute. Oh my
Yes, that would
god,
be neat.
that's such a good idea. I love that. What about your son and your daughter-in-law? What were their thoughts on you publishing?
They thought it was great. They
Yeah.
thought it was really a super thing to do, and so they're excited, obviously, to see what happens on Friday.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited. So how long did it take you to write the book?
Writing the book really didn't take that long. It was more trying to work with the illustrators.
Okay.
I did not illustrate the book.
Mhm.
The illustrators and trying to get the page layouts correct, that took more of the time. But I would
Mhm.
say from start to finish, probably 4 to 6 months.
Okay, that's pretty good. And how did you go about writing? Did you have any idea how you would go about doing it, or did you just start writing at like a certain time, or what was your like writing process or experience like?
I just sat at my desk, and as I thought of it, I would write. And then, of course, I would go do other things and come back and change some stuff and write more stuff. I didn't really have a set regime
Right.
of, doing anything like that. It was really just as the story, as I felt the story, the words of the story come out, I would scribble them down,
Yeah.
and then change, modify to make it fit, and then make it rhyme, which was a
Mhm.
little bit harder to do than just writing it.
Oh, wow. That's a challenge in itself to do writing, let alone rhyming. So that's cool that you did that within the book.
Yeah, that most kids' books, children's books, at least that I've read, not that there's that many, but most of them rhyme. And so I wanted to make sure that it was in a similar format to what the kids would be used to reading.
Okay, very cool. Did you enjoy writing?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
nice. It was
Yeah.
nice. I enjoyed that. It was, again, engineering, you don't get taught a lot of grammar and
Yeah.
proper English. It's not part of your degree.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a struggle, but we got through it, and I think it turned out just fine.
Oh, that's so exciting. How does it feel to be a published author?
Well, nothing in my life has really changed, but who knows? Who knows? After Friday, maybe I'll be this
Yeah.
well-known author.
Yeah, that's so exciting. So going into the aspect of self-publishing, how did you decide on self-publishing?
I talked to a friend of my daughter-in-law's whose family is in the publishing business. They did not publish the book, but
Okay.
I talked to her about that, and she counseled me through the steps and what I should do. So that's how I was able to accomplish it.
Okay. And Westbow Press specifically, what attracted you to Westbow Press?
Well, it's Christian based, which is
Mhm.
really important and good. And also, she had recommended that along with a couple others as a potential publisher for me. And
Uh-huh.
so that I just went to Westboro. I talked to them through email
Hmm.
and felt good about it and moved forward with them.
Right. And what was your process like self-publishing and all the steps and movements it takes to publish a book? Did you research a little bit about it, or were you just banking on, like your team and what they needed from you, and so you could have the creativity to make it into the book that you have wanted?
I simply followed their direction. It was
Mhm.
very easy the way they laid it out. They told me each step along the way, if I had any questions, I could reach out to them, which I did.
Mhm.
But they were very helpful and organized, particularly to me since I've never done it.
Right.
So it was a process that I needed guidance, and they
Mhm.
provided all I could ask for.
Oh, great. I'm so pleased. What about the design? You mentioned it a little bit earlier. What was designing your book like? So you've written this story, and then when it comes to illustrations, which is such an important part of a children's book, how did you go about that? Did you have like an idea of what you wanted, or can you explain that process a little bit?
Yes, I had some ideas for the illustrators,
Okay.
but I relied on their expertise and their experience to draw what they felt would fit. And then we made a few slight modifications along the way.
Hmm.
But they did a wonderful job of illustrating the book from just a little bit of notes and suggestions that I had when I emailed them.
Oh, great. And what part of your book was the most fun to write, or is there a part of the book that you like the most?
The part I like the most really is the whole story because each part of it has a special place for me.
Yeah.
The catch, the keeping, the prayer,
Yeah.
the watching it mature, and of course the letting it go. It was each part is really special, and I enjoyed writing all of that, each section of the book about that.
Have you received any feedback about your book? I know your book is newly published, but have you gotten any like reviews, or what kind of feedback have you gotten?
I've gotten some really nice feedback from a lot of my business colleagues.
Oh, nice.
I'm not on Facebook, but my wife let people know on Facebook that I had written this book. A lot of business people had contacted me and were amazed because I'm an engineer. But anyway,
Yeah.
but I've gotten some really nice feedback. I think the best feedback I got was from my sister-in-law, who said that after she read the book, she kind of teared up a little bit about the story. And I think
Mhm.
that's, if you can have that kind of impact on
Oh,
somebody's
yeah.
emotions through just words and pictures, then you did something pretty good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to have that moment and think, "Oh, I affected someone in a good way just by
Correct.
my writing and my memory of my grandsons and their fishing adventure." That's really special. What Going back to, like, the book a little bit, what elements of your grandson's fishing adventure do you believe, like, capture the innocence and wonder of childhood? And how do you hope readers will connect with some of the moments that they had?
Well, that's a tough question. I would just say I think that if you've ever been fishing with 6-year-old and 4-year-old boys or girls, doesn't matter, it could be both, but this just happens to be my grandsons. They'll be fishing and watching their bobber, and then 2 minutes later they'll be throwing rocks in the water, and then they'll be wandering around on the path around the lake, hiding in the bushes or getting stuck in the bushes, and then they come back to the fishing pole. It's just being with little children and realizing the world, because as you get old, you get calloused to the world. We look past so many of God's wonders.
Mhm.
And when you're with a little kid, they're seeing it for the first time, and it allows you to see through their eyes how wonderful the world is that God made. And
Mhm.
it make you cry.
Yeah. Oh, that's
It's
so
really cool.
special. That's so special. That was such a good answer too. So what inspired you to write this specific story and to actually, like, publish your story. Had you ever thought that you would publish a story, or why not just, like write it down in a journal? Why did you want to share it with the world?
Well, again, I don't want to repeat myself, but I do believe that it allows mom and dads to read to their sons and daughters a true story about a little adventure that doesn't cost a lot of money, that
Mm.
doesn't require you to go 500 miles away from your house. You can
Mhm.
go to a pond near your home, which is what the boys did with their dad.
Mhm.
They walked to the pond; they didn't even have to
Oh.
drive, and experience God's wonders and the pleasure of grandchildren and children
Mhm.
and how they see and marvel at the world. So I wanted that. I didn't want to just write it in a journal and have it be forgotten, or I only have one copy for one
Yeah.
grandson instead of the other. So I started to think, well, what if I just publish this in a book? I don't know how to do that, but let's research that and see what happens. And I
Mhm.
was very fortunate enough to talk to my daughter-in-law's friend who drove me to Westbo, which was just great.
Right. Yeah. Self-publishing is such a great route to take, especially if you just want to have a book, published and for your grandsons, and something that's not necessarily quick, but is thought out and have your creativity, the writer's opinion really throughout the book, and have it like actually published within a reasonable amount of time is really great. What was the
Yes,
most
I'm very fortunate.
Yeah. Did you have a difficult part of your writing process? We talked a little bit about your writing process, and how long it took you to write your book, but was there any part that was like a little difficult, or was it all pretty much straightforward for you?
It was pretty straightforward. The worst part was for me was because I'm an engineer, I don't know how to spell, and so when I wrote some of the words out, even though they are words, like in the book, they pose for a picture of the boys do with a fish they caught, and I of course wrote the word poised. And so when they sent me the final version, again, I'm checking the words and trying to make sure everything is spelled correctly. Well, it went to print, and then I realized my wife looked at it and she goes, "That's not the right word." My wife's an elementary school teacher. So,
Oh, she caught it.
yeah, so that was the worst part of the whole process was retracting the whole thing,
Oh no.
changing that one word from poised to posed, and then
No.
reissuing the book. That was the worst part.
That was the worst part. Oh man, I'm so sorry that happened. Just that one little word, but
That was
you got
my
it
fault. That
fixed.
was
You
my
got it
fault.
fixed. It was the engineer part of you.
That is correct.
But it was only one word. It could have been more, but it was just one, so
On
that's
a
good.
percentage basis, it was pretty
Yeah,
low, but
yeah.
it was still didn't rhyme.
What has the feedback been from your family and friends? I know you talked about your coworkers and stuff. What about your wife and your family, and also your faith community?
Yeah, they've all embraced it. They've said it's great. I don't know how many of them have purchased it. It was a little bit challenging to locate on the Amazon site. You had to use the Google search to find it in Amazon. You couldn't just go to Amazon and search.
Oh, okay.
But people did. They found it and they've purchased it. But a lot of them have done the ebook. It's called ebook, I guess.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, for like
So
a
they
Kindle.
they don't have a hard copy, but they did the electronic version.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
So it's been great. I don't know how many I've sold. I don't really care. That wasn't the purpose of the whole thing. It was
Right.
really just to create a gift for my grandchildren.
I'm so excited. They're gonna be so excited.
Yeah,
That's
I'm really looking forward to hearing their story on Friday afternoon when they get home from school.
I know. Um, oh, that's so cool. What advice would you offer to aspiring authors considering writing a book, and specifically for stories with a like family centric theme like yours?
Um, Obviously, this is my first book, so I'm not an expert in this area, but I would certainly tell people that I think true stories or stories that come from your heart
Mhm.
are the best stories. And so I would say to a new author or somebody that's wanting to become an author or a writer to write about things that are true and come from their hearts about their lives or the lives of the people that they've been intertwined with or intermixed with, through God's path or otherwise, because then that story will have the people will have character, the story will have a basis and a foundation of truth, which people absorb and like and appreciate. So that's what I would counsel them to say.
Oh, I like that. I really like that. And also true stories usually have like a takeaway message or something, a life lesson, which your book does, which is really great. Do you have any like personal or professional goals for this year? Have you thought about writing another book, or just gonna work on
Well,
the marketing for
well,
this book right now, or what's
well,
going
it's funny you say that. So I have another grandson that's been born since I wrote this book, but he's been born to my daughter,
on?
and so I probably will have to embark on an adventure with him as well as my granddaughters. I have three
Yeah.
granddaughters,
Oh,
and
wow.
do an adventure. So I may do this again,
Yes.
um, but I would just tell you that I'm trying to get my wife to write a book because she has such a great family story. Then I said, sweetheart, you really should write this book, not only for the world to read, but for the family to have and to know about your family's long history here in America, and with the church and everything like that. It really would be a great story. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
working on her to write it, and I'm probably going to end up going on adventures with my granddaughters and my new grandson, and I'll probably write something else again.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you have experience now.
That's right.
How many grandkids do you have total?
I have 6.
Oh, wow. Very
Yeah,
nice.
I'm very blessed. The Lord has been very good to me.
Oh, that's wonderful. And your wife, that's really cool. Is she like interested in all at publishing? I feel like a lot of teachers aspire to publish books as well. So she's also a teacher. So that's very
Well,
cool.
she doesn't think anybody would be interested in reading it.
Oh,
So
that's not true, I'm sure.
that's what I've been trying to tell her. But
Everyone has a story. Everyone can,
exactly,
relate, and I'm sure it can, will be inspiring, and family's so important, and also a keepsake. Books are
yes,
keepsakes as
I
well.
agree. I'm 100%.
That's great. Well, I hope she does, and I hope you write another book.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll work on this one first. So I just have one more question for you today, Brian. What impact do you hope your book has on readers, parents, and little ones?
Again, at the risk of repeating myself, I really hope that the people that do purchase the book read the book as a family,
Hmm.
whether it's with girls or boys, understand the importance of family and their relationship with God, and teaching that God's importance to little children, but
Hmm.
also to see and marvel at the world through little children's eyes, so that we don't walk around so calloused and hard like we do as adults and grown-ups in the world today.
Oh, that's great. And to just stay present with your grandkids and
Amen.
children is the best.
It is. Do you have children, Emma?
I do. I have a daughter, Stella. She's a year and a half.
Outstanding. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you
wonderful.
so much. Yeah, I love kids. I'm so happy you wrote a book for your grandkids, and I'm so excited to hear, because I really want to know what their reaction was. So I'm so excited for them and for you. And it's congratulations on publishing your book, and they'll treasure this forever and ever for sure.
Thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining me. And again, congratulations on publishing your first book and
Thank you.
discussing your book with me. Do you have any other closing thoughts or messages you'd like to share with our audience today?
I would just say, M go blue
Woo!
for the Wolverines.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for a delightful interview. We wish you well with your book.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you liked this interview and book and want to grab it for yourself to read to your little ones, you can go to westbowpress.com and purchase through the online bookstore. If you prefer Amazon or Barnes & Noble, it is available there. Thank you, Brian, again. And thank you for listening and watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, Emma.